Yo, what's good, everybody? It's your boy, Darius Capers, aka Kung Fu Cape of the Dynastyers podcast. Welcome back. Yes, I know it's been too long. Man, oh man, life has been whooping your boy. I had to lock in on some other things, but I am back to regularly scheduled programming. We are bringing y'all an episode every week. Yes, we are back again. Welcome back to the Dynastyers podcast. We are here today, have a big slate for you guys of stuff we want to talk about. Most of it is tied to the draft, the WNBA draft that took place last night, the NBA draft that will be taking place later this year, the NFL draft that is right around the corner. Can you believe it? It's almost time for football again. But like I said, you see it scrolling. Welcome. Got to do the introductions, the pleasantries. You know how it is if you've seen one of these episodes before. First and foremost, we got to shout out our partners at the Capers Cares Foundation. They are doing big things in the RDU area. Big things. You know, summertime is rolling around. That's really when they ramp up. Follow them on Instagram at the Capers Cares Foundation so you don't miss what they have going on. Also, please give us a follow. I know you see it scrolling on Instagram. Give us a sub on YouTube and give us a follow on TikTok. Yes, you see it down there now at the Dynastyers podcast. I've searched it on TikTok. We do come up with that search of at the Dynastyers podcast. And you already know about the Instagram and the YouTube channel. We've been pushing that for a while. We are up to 326 subs on the YouTube channel. We are making that push to 500 halfway through the year almost, man. We are trying to get to 300 by 20. We are trying to get to 500. Excuse me, we're already at 300. We're trying to get to 500 by 2025. You be a part of that first 500 followers because once we get to 5,000 and 5 million is going up. So help us get to 500, man. Like I mentioned, we're about to go in and get into it now. First topic I want to talk about is the WNBA draft recap. And we're going to just go through that entire draft. It was a lot of talent in that draft. And I'm going to switch over to show you guys, give you guys my reaction to all the players that were drafted in the first round, second round, third round of the WNBA draft. So, of course, first and foremost, Caitlin Clark, superstar extraordinaire, guard out of Iowa, went first to the Indiana Fever. I'm very interested to see her and Aaliyah Boston's fit together, big in a guard. That's what typically wins championships on any level of basketball. I'm interested to see. It's been speculation of, will she do what she did in college on the WNBA level, on the professional level? And I don't see why not. Imagine if the Warriors would have put Steph Curry in a box. When they finally let Steph Curry do what he does, he led them to multiple championships. Why are you going to put her in a box? She's not just a college superstar. I believe she can be a generational talent for the Indiana Fever. They have one of them ones. Pick 2, Cameron Brink. She's a Stanford stud, Stanford superstar. She's staying home in California. The Los Angeles Sparks took her with the number 2 pick overall. She's one of the best defensive forwards in this draft. And I like that pick a lot. She's adding a lot of different stuff to her game. She's added a 3-point shot this past year at Stanford. And if she can continue to develop on that, she could be one of the better forwards in the WNBA. We're going to go a little quicker. Pick 3, Cam Cardozo going to the Chicago Sky. The Chicago Sky were my big winner of the WNBA draft, and you'll see why a little later. A major part of it is Cam Cardozo getting drafted there. Center out of South Carolina. She's coming off of a national championship season. She was a major part in them winning the Natty, and she deserved to get picked here. Pick 4, the Los Angeles Sparks. Wow. I didn't peep during the draft, but they did make this trade with the Seattle Storm. But Cameron Brink and Rakia Jackson both on the forward spots for the Los Angeles Sparks going forward. That is a lot of talent. Rakia Jackson is a bucket. I was able to watch her during the tournament. I was also able to watch her a little bit during the SEC championship game, or the SEC tournament, excuse me. And she's a bucket, man. She's definitely a bucket. They got two good forwards going forward. 5th pick in the draft, J.C. Sheldon, guard out of Ohio State. She's a really good shooter going to Dallas. She'll be able to help them, give them another scoring punch. And, yeah, that's a really good pick for them as well. Pick 6, Aaliyah Edwards out of UConn. Aaliyah Edwards was one of the main driving forces of a UConn team last season that came up short against Caitlin Clark, but had a tremendous year, a team that had a lot of injuries, but she was one of the mainstays on that team, 13-7. You see her averages. She was a really, really strong post player for UConn, and I'm not surprised to see her go here to the Washington Mystics. It'll be interesting to see what she does at the next level, though. She's not going to have as good of guard play as she had at UConn. I mean, come on, you can't argue with that. UConn had one of the best guards in the league, and so we'll definitely see what she does with the Washington Mystics. And 7, this is again why I mentioned the Chicago Sky are one of my winners. Angel Reese and Cam Cardoza at the 4 and the 5 going forward is going to just be the twin towers defensively, rebounding wise. Offensively, they're going to control the paint. It'll be interesting to see if she adds range to her jumper, though, at the next level. If she's able to do that, then they're going to be unstoppable. Rounding out the top 10, Alisa Peely. She was one of the homies' favorite players from college, man. Forward out of Utah. She's a bucket, man. 17-6. She did her thing going to Minnesota. That's going to be a really good pick for them. And to finish out the top 10, it was 2 guards from overseas. I'm not going to lie, I'm not as familiar with their game, but based off of their stats, they look like they're going to be able to come in and contribute right away. I'm going to be honest with you. 15-5, 12, 3-3, basically. Both guards out of France. They seem like they're going to be able to contribute right away. Finishing out the first round, Marquisha Davis. She was a defensive guard out of Ole Miss. I believe she was all SEC defensive team. She's going to bring that defensive intensity to the New York Liberty, something that they need. They have a lot of talent already offensively. They need somebody that's going to lock up. Last but not least, the Atlanta Dream took another foreign player out of Australia. Again, I'm not very familiar with her game, but hey, forward center, I'm sure she has talent because she went in the first round, right? So second round, I'm not going to go through every pick like I did in the first round, but I do want to highlight a few of the bigger picks. Daisha Fair falling to the Las Vegas Aces. I mentioned this in my short. If you didn't peep it at the YouTube channel is the Dynastyers podcast. Please make sure you peep that. But man, her falling to the second round is criminal. I know you look at that field goal percentage like, well, she shot sub 40%, but she's one of the most prolific scorers in women's college basketball history. I feel like she easily could have been a first-round pick, but her going here to the Aces will be interesting. The Aces have a lot of talent already. I wonder what type of role she'll have with them going into this next season. Like I mentioned, I'm not going to highlight all of them. There was a few other picks that I wanted to highlight. Elizabeth Keatley from Virginia Tech. She's also a really good post player, 18-10, another one of those women averaging a double-double in college basketball last year. I'm telling you, it was so much talent in college basketball on the women's side last year, and this draft could really be game-changing for a lot of these teams. I know you see Tatiana Jackson, also another double-double machine, shooting 62% from the field, going to Connecticut. It's a lot of talent in this draft. I was very interested to see this draft. It was, in my opinion, it's one of them ones. It's one of those ones in terms of drafts. Like we think about NBA drafts and things of that nature, like a 2003. We think of the draft with Jason Tatum. There's a lot of good drafts out there in the NBA, and I feel like we need to look at this WNBA draft the same way. And last but not least, like I said, I shouted her out in the short. I gotta shout them out. Shout out to HBCUs. We love HBCUs. Angel Jackson, Jackson State center. She was 2-time all defense in her conference. That is amazing. She deserved to get drafted, and she did. And she's going to have one of the best players of all time on the women level. Overall, honestly, what am I talking about? A'ja Wilson is one of the greatest basketball players to ever pick up a rock. As her mentor, it'll be interesting to see what she does in the future. It'll be very interesting to see how she develops and what she does in the future, man. So yes, that is the recap. It's kind of quick of the WNBA draft. If you want to hear a little more down to the nitty gritty type of feelings on how I felt about the draft, peep my short, man. Follow us on the YouTube channel. You see it scrolling down below. I post shorts pretty much every day unless, my arm is falling off or unless I lose power. So other than that, you're going to see a short from me. And yes, now we are going to pivot, stay in basketball, but we're going to go to the male side of things. And man, oh man, I want to talk about, before I get to the NBA draft, I want to talk about the NBA playoffs because the play-in is starting tonight, and I'm about to actually pull up the schedule right here because I know that the Lakers and the Pelicans are playing tonight. However, I want to make sure I get you guys the schedule of the other games. I know you guys probably already hip to it, but, just in case you're not, the Dynastyers is you guys. The Dynastyers is you guys. So let's go ahead and peep. And just giving you guys a score update. It's about to be the end of the first quarter. The Pelicans are up 31-26 on the Lakers. And also, another playing game is also taking place tonight, the Warriors and the Kings. That'll be another interesting game based on just the kind of rivalry that they kind of developed over time. It happened out of nowhere. I mean, the Kings just got good, and then the Warriors are kind of falling back down to that middling type of team. So it'll be interesting to see, do the Kings knock them out? What type of moves do the Warriors make to help Steph Curry? Is this the end of the big three in Golden State? Does Clay come back? All of these are questions that I have going forward with the Warriors, and I'm sure Warrior fans do as well. Tomorrow, the playing games in East are taking place. We got the Heat and the Sixers. We also have the Hawks and the Bulls. And if I'm giving my predictions based on how I think, playoffs will go, how I think seeding will go, because that also matters. That we can't make it like that doesn't matter. If the Pelicans are to beat the Lakers tonight, they will be matched up with the Denver Nuggets in the first round. That is going to be a 5-game series, I'm pretty sure, unless Zion Williamson just turns into what we thought he'd be. If something along the lines of the top 6 seeds in the West being the Thunder at 1, Nuggets at 2, Timberwolves at 3, Clippers, Mavs 4 and 5, Suns at the 6 seed. Like I mentioned, the Pelicans and Lakers are playing now. The Warriors and Kings have to play later this evening. Let's just say my predictions go as this. I believe the Warriors beat the Kings. I believe the Lakers are going to win tonight because I don't think they're scared of the Nuggets. But I could see a world where the Lakers, I'm not going to say tank this game, but prefer to play the Thunder in the first round. Because if they get matched up with the Thunder, they're going to beat the Thunder in like 5-6 games. Shea's a great player, don't get me wrong, but they just don't have enough. They have no one that can guard LeBron. I don't believe Chet can guard Anthony Davis at 80 or 85%. So, like they always say, LeBron gets in 4th seed, 6th seed, 8th seed, sunflower seed, banana seed, Lakers in 5. That's kind of where I'm at with that. So I can see the Pelicans winning. I can see the Lakers staying at 8. And that being the playoffs. So the first round matchups would be Thunder Lakers. Like I mentioned, the Lakers are going to beat the Thunder if they get matched up with the Thunder. They're going to beat them. Nuggets and Pelicans, like I said, unless Zion Williamson is just otherworldly, the Pelicans are going home in 5 as well. Timberwolves and Suns is an interesting series for me. It's a very interesting series for me. And this is why I say that. Because I don't know if you guys remember, but it was the Timberwolves, I believe they might have been playing the Suns or they were playing the Nets or somebody. But it was the conversation of someone asked Anthony Edwards, what are you going to do with Kevin Durant? Oh, yeah, Kevin Durant's a great player, but we got Jaden McDaniels. We're going to see if Jaden McDaniels can do something against Kevin Durant in a 7-game series. And to think about it, Devin Booker, I believe they said the stat is he's 11-1 against Anthony Edwards in head-to-head matchups. The Suns might beat them. And last but not least, oh my gosh, I know this is the worst case scenario for the Clippers when they got to play Dallas in the first round. Luka just owns the Clippers. And with Kawhi, I believe he might be dealing with an injury. It was speculation that his knee was swelling up. I don't know if that's 100% true, but if he's dealing with an injury, man, Luka's sending them home. And Luka and Kyrie have been playing tremendous this season. So my first round, Lakers win, Nuggets win, Suns win, Mavericks win. And so that would just put stuff in a frenzy, because then if you're looking at the series, is then what would it be? It'd be 1-8, 2-7, 3-6, 4-5, right? So the 2 versus the 6, it's the Nuggets versus the Suns, and it would be no, excuse me. It'd be the Suns and the Lakers. And the Nuggets and the Mavericks. The Nuggets and the no. I was right. The Suns would play the Nuggets because they defeated the 3 seed. It doesn't matter. The Nuggets would beat the Suns. That's what I was getting to, everyone. The Nuggets are going to beat the Suns if they have to match up with them in the second round. Who do they have to guard Jokic? I like Nurkic as a player. Yusuf Nurkic is a really good player. He's had a 20 rebound game this year. He's had a bunch of like 15 plus rebound games this year. He's just not skilled enough to guard Jokic, man. And the Lakers will be matched up with the Mavericks. That would be interesting. That would be very interesting because the Mavericks are a young team. The Mavericks are a really young team. And we've seen Luka match superstars before. Can Luka match LeBron? I think I don't know. That'd be a 7-game series. That's a coin flip. But I would not put anything past LeBron. They don't have anyone to guard LeBron either, really. I guess they'd probably be putting PJ Washington on him, be putting Lively on AD, be putting Gafford on AD. I'm not betting against Lakers, but I could definitely see that being a 7-game series. And then the Lakers and the Nuggets would be a coin flip. That would definitely be a coin flip. So could definitely see a world where the Nuggets go back to the finals. Could definitely see a world where the Nuggets lose in the second round to the Suns if they play them. So the West is kind of jumbled. But I'm going to rock with the Nuggets coming out of the West, barring injury. I'm rocking with the Nuggets. That's going to be my final answer. Looking at the East, man, it's one answer only. My Boston Celtics are coming out of the East. Part of me is really hoping that somehow, some way, either the Hawks or the Bulls beat the Heat, because if we got to play the Heat in the first round, that could be a tough series. That could be a 6, maybe even a 7-game series, depending on what playoff Jimmy does. Is playoff Jimmy still a thing? I don't know. We'd have to see. But one team he always shows up against is the Boston Celtics. And that's my hope. But more than likely, the Sixers and the Heat will also get the 7 and 8 seed, and that would be our matchup. But I'm rocking with the Celtics to beat the Heat. The Knicks and the Sixers would be a crazy good series. I'm going to be honest with you. That's a styles fight, really, when you think about it, because the Knicks are very guard dependent. They're very guard dependent, and Maxey versus Brunson would be showtime, man. That'd be a great bit of guard play. But Embiid would just be, I think he'd be too much for them. Is Mitchell Rob okay? I mean, I know they got Hardenstein and they don't got Jay Randall. I would hate for them to play a team like the Sixers in the first round because the Sixers are getting healthy at the right time. Embiid is back and he's the best player in that series. It's hard for me to bet against the best player in the series, man. So it's been a great regular season for the Knicks, man. If Randall be healthy, I would definitely go with the Knicks. But with Julius Randle being hurt, he's not the greatest player, but we're not going to argue or make it seem like he's not 20 and 10. We're not going to do that. So, Pops, I love you, man, but if y'all get the Sixers in the first round, man, I think y'all would have a tough time. Now, if the Heat beat them, I think the Knicks can beat the Heat in a 7-game series. I do think the Knicks can beat the Heat in a 7-game series. But if they get the Sixers, that'd be a tough matchup for them. The Bucks and the Pacers. Bucks are gonna beat them in 5. Bucks are gonna beat them in 6. Even without Giannis. I know Giannis hurt his calf, but Damian Lillard is the best player in that series. The Pacers are gonna have to hoop. It looks like Halliburton might not be the super duper star we thought he was. He might just be a star, and that's okay. He's still a really good player. He just might not be the All-NBA top 5 level point guard we thought. So I would go Bucks in 6, and I could even see a world where Giannis comes back game 2 or game 3, and that's the deciding factor. If they get 1 game without Giannis, if they get 2 games without Giannis, I leave him out. But I'm going to go Bucks in 6. And then Cavs Magic, I'm rocking with the Orlando Magic. Yes, sir. My Duke boy takes the Orlando Magic and wins a playoff series. Paolo Banchero is one of those guys. I think he's one of the young guys that in my homie India Sampson, shout out to her, follow on YouTube, follow on TikTok, follow on Instagram, India Sampson. We did not mention as one of the faces of the league coming up. Paolo Banchero can be one of those guys. He has a 21 point per game average in 2 NBA seasons. There was no sophomore slump in Paolo Banchero, and I think he takes the next step and gets himself a playoff series victory. You know what that means, though, Cleveland. If you guys lose to the Orlando Magic in the first round, Donovan Mitchell is most likely gone. I wouldn't be surprised. So, again, the playoffs happen right now. Celtics over Heat. Sixers over Knicks, Bucks over Pacers, Magic over Cavs. The next round matchups would be my Celtics taking on the Magic, who kind of played us pretty tough this year, but I think we'd beat the Magic. I think that's where it would end just because we essentially have that same team, based off of the wings with Franz Wagner and Paolo Banchero, but we have them supersized in Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. I just think that would be too much for them. And we go into the conference championship to face the Milwaukee Bucks with Giannis coming back in the second round to help them defeat the Sixers. And we play the Bucks in the conference finals. I believe we beat the Bucks in 6 games. I believe Chris Middleton would be the X factor in that series. Will he be able to be that third star that they need? I don't believe so anymore. I believe he's on the bottom side of the hill of his prime. He's on the down slope, I should say, on the other side of his prime. So that's tough, man. Celtics Nuggets. That's my prediction. I said this on India's video. That's my prediction. I'm sticking with it. Celtics Nuggets. I wanted to see the Clippers make it, but I don't think they will. They drew the Mavericks in the first round, man. That's gonna be tough. So Celtics Nuggets is my prediction. And I'm rocking with the squad. Celtics in 7. Celtics finally get over the hump. Jason Tatum finally proves to you all that he's a top 5 player in the league. The Celtics win the NBA Finals. Yes, they do. Before I go to the NBA draft, I want to also mention NBA awards. There's a lot of speculation on who will win MVP, who will win all of the awards. And I want to give my predictions because I believe people are tripping. I'm going to be honest with you. People are tripping. People are tripping. So there's speculation that everyone believes that SGA is getting, in a sense, overlooked for MVP. Do I think so? I don't know, man. Overlooked is a stretch. Overlooked is a stretch. He's averaging what, 31, 6, and 5, about 2 steals a game for the number 1 team in the West. But the only thing about that is, are they really the number 1 seed? Because technically, them and the Nuggets have a tied record. So by the book, record-wise, their records are the same. I can understand if they had, like the Boston Celtics, do 64 wins, and it was because of, like, their 57 wins are because of Shea. But if they had 7 extra wins, 7 more wins than the Nuggets, then it's undeniable. But because their records are so similar, I feel like that is what's stopping people from fully giving SGA the love that he deserves. And again, I'm scrolling. I want to try to find the listing of the MVP, but I feel like that's what's stopping everybody. And I don't blame them, because what Nikola Jokic has done this season, I mean, some people can say it's just Nikola being Nikola, but bro, he deserves his 3rd MVP in 4 seasons. He does. I mean, what more can you ask him to do? He played 79 games, 26 points, 12 rebounds, 9 assists, bro. Like, he's the best player in the league right now, bro. He's the best player in the league. And if he gets this 3rd MVP in 4 years, we're going to have to look at him completely different, bro. Completely different. I'm going to be honest with you. He gets his 3rd MVP, he's over Giannis in my opinion. I don't know if that's a hot take. I mean, I know Giannis won DPOY and MVP in the same season, but bro, 3 MVPs? Bro. So yeah, my MVP, I don't know if you guys got it based on what I was saying, but my MVP, I'm going to rock with Nikola Jokic. SGA, man, I just wish y'all would have had 59. If y'all would have had 59 dubs, I'd have gave it to SGA. But they're too close, man. 57 wins. They both have 57 wins. So, like I said, MVP, Nikola Jokic. Rookie of the Year, we're not going to spend too much time on this. Victor Wembanyama has been elite. Like I mentioned shout out India Sampson on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, everything. Follow her. Like I mentioned on her video, man, this man's averaging 21 and 10 with 3 blocks as a rookie. Statistically, one of the best rookie seasons we've seen since LeBron, Shaquille O'Neal, like Blake Griffin had an amazing statistical rookie season. Like, shout out Blake, man. Oh, Blake retired today. Oh, man. That just hurt my heart, bro. Blake Griffin is one of my most favorite players of all time, bro. Love Blake Griffin. He retired. He's one of the ones. Shout out to Blake Griffin. But yeah, keep on going. Victor Wembanyama, Rookie of the Year. Defensive Player of the Year, I almost want to give it to Victor Wembanyama too. But Rudy Gobert, Rudy Gobert is one of those guys. He's gonna be 1A, 1B in terms of the best big defenders. Now, I do understand the conversation of, man, you got to take him out in certain situations, but I definitely think Rudy Gobert is one of, if not the best defenders at the 5 spot in the league. Victor Wembanyama, he led the league in blocks, so we should take into account that. And you know what? I'm not going to do it because he's not going to win it. He's probably going to finish second or third. It's most likely going to go to Rudy Gobert. So, Rudy Gobert, you get your, 4th, 5th Defensive Player of the Year, man. Congratulations. Most improved, this is the easy one for me. I'm going to go Kobe White. He pretty much took the point guard reins from an injured Lonzo and never looked back. And as much as I love Lonzo as a player, he really made Lonzo Ball expendable this offseason because Kobe White's dang near averaging 20 points per game, bro. 20 and 5? Like, he's finally starting to show everybody the reason why he was a top 10 pick a few years ago. And I'm glad. Like, I'm a huge fan of Kobe White, man. I love the combo scoring guards. He's one of the best. So, yeah, definitely Kobe White, most improved. 6th man of the year. 6th man of the year. I'm leaning Naz Reid here, and I'm saying that I'm leaning Naz Reid just because of the stretch of time Karl-Anthony Towns missed, and they pretty much didn't miss a beat, man. Naz Reid came in and did his thing, held it down while Cat was hurt, comes in and plays when Gobert just can't get it done. As we mentioned, sometimes they have to sub him out for stretches, but Naz Reid played 81 games, 13.5 points, 5 rebounds off the bench. I say give it to him, man. It's between really him and I guess you can say Malik Monk. I thought Emmanuel Quickly would have had a little more hype for 6th man of the year, 17 and 5 off the bench, but with him being traded through the midway through the season, maybe that hurt him. It's really a 3-man race between him, Naz Reid, and Malik Monk because Malik Monk, when I tell you he's had an amazing season for the Kings, 15 and 3 boards, 5 assists off the bench. I mean, Malik Monk's never been considered a playmaker, but he runs that second unit well. So I would say it's a 3-man race between those guys. Flip a 3-sided coin and just choose somebody. Mark Daigneault, Coach of the Year, that's easy. That young Thunder team really overperformed, I feel, and he has a lot to do with that. So, and last but not least, hey, Clutch Player of the Year. I forgot about this award. If you want to give Clutch Player of the Year to Shea, I won't be mad. Another guy that deserves it, I would say DeMar DeRozan, because he was one of the best fourth quarter scorers in the NBA this season. But give it to Shea. Let's give it to Shea. Shea got screwed out of the MVP. Let's give it to Shea. And that's the NBA awards section. Now we're pivoting into the NBA mock draft. Shout out to 6 Rings of Steel, one of the guys that I watch a lot of his YouTube content on YouTube, man. Shout out to him. He also did a mock draft, and that kind of gave me this idea. So we're actually going to hop back over to one of the tabs that I have for you guys, and we're going to go through an NBA mock draft. We're actually going to pretty much go through the lottery as if they're going through it themselves, have like a mock lottery. And I'm going to give the pick that I would make if I was that team. Tell me how I do. I feel like I'm a pretty solid GM sometimes, so let's just see how it goes. So if we're looking at this lottery, if we're looking at this lottery, the Chicago Bulls actually won the lottery, which is amazing. If I'm Chicago, there's not really a number one player in this class. I guess Alexander Sarr is a good guy to take here. DeMar DeRozan, would they look to get rid of him, sign and trade maybe? What are they going to do with Vucevic? That's another question to have. The Jazz are a team that just need wing depth. And I like Zachary Richardson here because he's a off the ball guy. He can shoot well, play make a little bit. I feel like he can do a little more with the rock in his hands. So I wouldn't mind him going here. In terms of the Grizz, Reed Shepard, I don't think he's even declared yet, but that's not a bad pick for them if they were to take Reed Shepard. And again, shout out to Tankathon. This is something that they've done. I haven't done it, so it's just a sim lottery. See how it goes. See what we think, and I don't mind it. I don't mind a Reed Shepard for them. Nikola Topic to the Raptors. The Raptors could use a point guard of the future. The Pistons are the biggest loser really in this mock. Oh man, the Spurs too. This is really a weak draft. I'll be honest with you. One of the guys I do like in this draft is Donovan Clingan. He's going to be a great defender. And I'm just looking down. Jared McCain's one of my guys too from Duke. I'm a big Duke guy. Y'all know that. 6'3", 6'4" guard. Man, if he goes to the Heat at 15, oh my goodness. Another guy that I like a lot, and one of the picks that I see that I don't agree with, I'll say just off this mock, the Portland Trailblazers taking Isaiah Collier. I don't think they need another guard. I think they need to let Scoot develop, and I really think that would be good for him more so than anything. Let me see, man. We reset it. We reset it. Rob, this is how it's projected. I don't really. Sar to the Pistons work. See, this is what I wanted. I wanted an actual mock of what's actually what won through not the lottery. So I'm glad I reset it. Sar to the Pistons works. I feel like he can play next to Duran in that front court. He can be a four-man. Zachary Richardson to the Wizards. The Wizards already have a bunch of wings. I would like for them to kind of take a guard or a big. Honestly, they could use Sar a lot. Would they consider taking Clingan? I don't know. That might be too early for him, but I mean, two-time champion on the college level. I feel like you can never take him too early. That would work perfectly because then Risa Share would be there for the Trailblazers. And in terms of the Hornets, I feel like this is the worst draft for the Hornets to be this high because Mark Williams is already there. They already got Melo. Do they want to take a Nikola Topic and let them play together in the backcourt? They've already shown that they don't want to do that. And they already have their wing of the future as well. So my thing for them would be to find guys that complement the guys they already have on their team. They have a lot of talent already. Brandon Miller is there. Like I said, LaMelo, Mark Williams will be back. So if I'm them, I'm not taking a Donovan Clingan. I would rather take a Reed Shepard, an off the ball guard, can defend. Look, 3.1 steals, one of the highest steal guys in college basketball, almost a block a game, 15, 5, and 5. He reminds me low key of like a taller, like Avery Bradley, honestly. And Avery Bradley had a great career. Like I mentioned, the Raptors, I think they could use a point guard, a guy like Rob Dillingham, who's 23 and a half points a game per 36 minutes. That would be good for them. Stephon Castle would be perfect next to Ja. Would he be perfect next to Ja? He'd probably be a bench guy considering they got Desmond Bane. They'd probably opt for a wing. I wouldn't mind them taking a flyer on Bruzelis, seeing what he can be. Cody Williams going to the Rockets. The Rockets just need talent. I wouldn't be mad at them taking a flyer on him. I don't know if the Rockets want to compete or if they want to rebuild. So if they're thinking wing, they probably opt for a Dalton Connect, who's shown he can shoot the ball, defend on the college level, versus the Cody Williams, who honestly I feel like should consider going back to college. Ron Holland to the Bulls. Again, the Bull. This works though. I like Ron Holland to the Bulls because they could use a wing if his 3-pointer doesn't translate. Him and DeRozan on that team could be tough, but then he could also make a DeRozan expendable if they look to rebuild. But they don't seem like they're interested in rebuilding. They seem like they're trying to compete. So this is just a tough draft. Jacoby Walter is a nice pick. I like him a lot. I wouldn't mind them going a big man there with that Rockets pick, like a Kyle Filipowski. That would be a nice move for them, in my opinion, because if they were to go Kyle Filipowski, that gives them a center for the future. But I don't think Kyle Filipowski's NBA position will be center. Yee Misi's more of a defensive center that could work for them. Like I said, Isaiah Collier going to the Heat would be nice because they could use a point guard. I think Isaiah Collier is going to be a really good pro. I really do. And I know they traded for Terry Rozier, but he's more of an off-the-ball type of guard, in my opinion. I know Tyler Hero does a lot of on-ball creation as well, but they could use a guard. Jared McCain falling to 18 would be nice. The Pelicans need shooting. And Terrence Shannon Jr., I'm a fan of him. I hope it wasn't just a senior being very, very experienced and being able to cook. But I think he could be a solid pro. 17 might be early for him as a 23-year-old. About to be probably 24 soon. Because think about it, I'm 25. So, but I mean, hey, give him a shot. Toronto, they need talent. And honestly, I wouldn't mind him. I mean, they got the wing positions already good. RJ Barrett's there. Then they got Scotty. Every other position is pretty much open for business. So Tristan Da Silva going to the Cavs, that's not bad. Devin Carter going to the Sixers. That's actually a really good pick. Devin Carter's a good shooter, a good scorer in college. So that wouldn't be bad. Khalil Ware going to the Pelicans. I could see the Pelicans looking to take a 5-man. They need a big. Khalil Ware is a good athlete. How does he fit next to Zion? I don't know. They would probably be better off trying to get a Kyle Filipowski, but I don't see him falling to 18. 18, they took Jared McCain, his teammate, which, again, they need shooting. So Zach Edey to the Bucks, that'd be crazy. Zach Edey and Giannis, they would never do that. Or maybe they would. You never know. Johnny Furphy and Tyler Smith going to the Knicks, 2 shooters. The Knicks are another team that could use some shooting. Yeah, this is a solid mock draft, but the draft is just weaker this year, man. I don't really know what to say. My favorite player in the draft is Jared McCain. I feel like he can be a good pro. He can be a good combo guard. Like I said, I'm a fan of guys that can play on the ball, play off the ball, good shooters, good creators, solid defenders. He does it. He pretty much does it all, and he pretty much did it all for Duke during the tournament and it stretches this season. So he's one of my favorite players this draft. I'm also a fan of Tristan Da Silva. He's low-key a Heat guy for me. If the Heat were to want to get another forward that's experienced, knows how to play the game, Tristan Da Silva could be a guy for them. I like him a lot. Another guy that I'm a big fan of in this draft. Let me think. Because a lot of talent. I'm a fan of Stephon Castle out of UConn. I feel like him winning that natty will help him go in the top 10. I think he deserves to too, man. He was strapping up everyone in the tournament. Your best player saw Stephon Castle, and if he was scoring 20 points a game prior, he saw Stephon Castle, and he did not score 20. He probably didn't even score 10. So I would like him as a top 10 pick. That's why I was saying him next to Ja could be solid, but Desmond Bain is there. That could just be a log jam at the guard spot. But you always need good guards. You always need good guards. You never know when Ja's going to get suspended again. So that's pretty much tying up the NBA draft content. And last but not least, man, like I said, the NFL is right around the corner, bro. It's mock draft season, mock draft time. I'm going to actually give you guys my mock draft, and I'm going to tell you guys kind of like the picks that I think would be good for who. It just makes sense. It just makes sense. And we're actually rocking. Let me go ahead and share my screen because, like I said, some of these mock drafts they go by themselves. They're not going to let me do my predictions or my projections. I'm just going to tell you if I agree with the pick or not. Why not? I feel like that'd be good enough. So let's hop back over, and we are here. So if we're looking at the mock draft from Pro Football Network, we're going to go draft speed slow. Give us time to see who's picked where, what I think of the pick. So round one, pick one should be Caleb Williams. I agree. That's pretty much what's going to happen. They traded Justin Fields. I'm a big Justin Fields fan. You guys know this. I think he can be a pro. I think he'll take over the reins in Pittsburgh for Russell Wilson after this season. I don't see Russ coming back, but I do feel like that's the pick they need to make. In between you and me, I'm eyeing Caleb Williams in fantasy football. He has too much talent around him offensively to not come in and do the dang thing. Pick number 2, I agree 100%. The Commanders need to take a quarterback. The only thing is, do they take Drake May? They've already done the UNC quarterback thing. Is he ready to play day one? Because this quarterback that you draft has to be ready to play day one. I'm more of a Jaden Daniels fan opposed to Drake May, but I get it. I understand them taking Drake May here. And if Drake May were to fall to the Patriots at 3, that'd be the perfect scenario for the Patriots. But I'm pretty sure the Patriots are going to draft Jaden Daniels in this mock. I personally wouldn't. I would look to move down, maybe another quarterback needy team, maybe a team such as Atlanta. They just signed Kirk Cousins, so they don't need a quarterback anymore. Maybe a team like Minnesota. You could really rob Minnesota blind, and they would trade up to get a quarterback. But maybe the Raiders at 13, you can even get a haul for this pick. I'm the Patriots, but they're going to most likely stay here. We're going to do this mock as if no trades happen. And they took Marvin Harrison Jr. Wow. I wouldn't be against this. I wouldn't be against this at all. With the Patriots, their team is not ready for a young quarterback in the slightest. I feel like going the veteran route would be perfect for the Patriots. And in terms of taking a weapon, Marvin Harrison Jr. is probably the best player in this draft. And with them bringing back Jacoby Brissett has shown that he can be a pro. If Marvin Harrison were to go 3, this would send Arizona in a tailspin. But this is perfect, though, because if this happened, I'm Arizona, I'm trading down easily. I'm going to trade down. Okay, what can I get for, like I mentioned, those teams, the Vikings, the Raiders, these quarterback needy teams? What do you want for this pick? Or what will you give me for this pick? Your quarterback is sitting right there. But if they're staying here, like I mentioned, there's no trades. They're taking Malik Neighbors. He is the next best receiver in this draft behind Marvin Harrison. I agree with the pick. Pick 5, I most likely see the Chargers maybe going a Joe Alt, maybe going Brock Bowers. I feel like could they use O-line? I also could see them going Roma Dunze here would be too early in my opinion. So I really see them going offensive lineman. See? Like I said, this is the perfect position to trade up to. The Vikings trade up to pick 5 and they take their quarterback. That makes the most sense in the world. It makes no sense for the Chargers to stay there and pick. And the Chargers were able to pick up 2 first for that. That's amazing. If they're able to get 2 first, a future first, and maybe a third or a fifth round pick for them to come up to pick 5, they do it 100 times out of 100. Here, I see, wow, I was going to say the Giants should consider taking Joe Alt, but with them taking Roma Dunze, that makes sense. They need a weapon. So they need a weapon. It just makes all the sense in the world. With the Titans here, my projection for the Titans is they take a Dallas Turner. I feel like they need edge rusher help. Do they take the offensive lineman? Do they take? So they ended up taking Fashanu. I know how to pronounce his last name. I don't know how to pronounce his first name. I don't want to butcher his first name, but Fashanu out of Penn State. And I'm surprised they took him over Joe Alt. That's a shocker to me. But this is perfect because Dallas Turner falls right to the Falcons, and that's a perfect fit, in my opinion. Dallas Turner to the Falcons is book it. And they took Terry and Arnold. Wow. They could – I feel like their DB room is solid. I feel like their DB room is okay. I feel like they could use an edge rusher a little more, but I'm not mad about it because Terry and Arnold was the best DB in this draft in a sense. It would have been my man out of Iowa if he wasn't injured, but because Cooper DeJean is injured, and he's more of a chess piece anyways. So, but because Arnold's hurt, then this is the perfect pick for them in my opinion. Because Cooper DeJean is hurt and they don't want to take Dallas Turner, which is a shock, that's the perfect pick for him. And Chicago is able to get Caleb Williams and potentially Joe Alt. Oh, this would be perfect. They take Alt here? Another trade. It makes sense. The Raiders trade up to get their quarterback at 9, JJ McCarthy. And if this is how the top 9 rolls out for my New York Jets, bro. So you mean to tell me in the first 9 picks, we had 4 quarterbacks, 3 receivers, an O-lineman, and a cornerback? Oh, Joe Alt to the New York Jets, baby. I disagree with this completely. This is the most Jets pick ever. What did we trade with Philly for if we're going to draft Dallas Turner? Now, I'm not mad. Dallas Turner's a freak of nature, but why would we stay here and take an edge? Our defense is fine. We need O-line help. Joe Alt should have been the pick. I disagree completely. But this isn't my mock. This is Pro Football Networks. That means Joe Alt goes 11. Oh, so they traded back again. They traded back with Chicago. They traded up to get Latu. That, I guess. My question is, why do people hate Joe Alt? Because I would have taken him at 10. And Quinion Mitchell was the star of the combine. Besides Dallas Turner, Quinion Mitchell is one of the stars of the combine. I definitely could see him going top 15. Going to Denver, it makes sense. Talise Fuaga going to Dallas. Dallas traded up to get their lineman. Wow. That means they'd probably, in the second round, take a running back, or maybe in the third round. Let's see what the running back position looks like, because there was no way. I didn't think they would take a running back in the first round, but they got some guys. Dylan LeBay, he had a good Senior Bowl. I think he could get drafted in the 5th, 4th, 5th, 6th round and be a good running back. If I'm drafting a running back, man, I'm looking at Will Shipley or Braylon Allen just for the potential. Braylon Allen's only 20. He could be a stud. Pick 14, Joe Alt finally goes to the Saints. I think they got the steal of the draft so far. Brock Bowers to the Colts would be amazing. Shout out Anthony Richardson getting a weapon. Pick 16, Seattle Seahawks take Jared Verse. That's such a Seahawks pick, when in reality they should consider a quarterback. Troy Futanu, Washington to the Jags. Amarius Mims, Chop Robinson. Chop Robinson to let's pause real quick. Chop Robinson to the Rams would be nice. Amarius Mims was also another big combine guy. Brian Thomas Jr., another big combine guy. I think the Steelers could opt to take a receiver because of them trading away DJ this offseason. So, I mean, they need to replace Deontay Johnson, and why not get one of the more talented receivers in this draft? J.C. Latham to the Dolphins. I could see that. Nate Wiggins to the Eagles. The Eagles do need DB help, but I wouldn't mind them taking Cooper DeJean here. But they do like athletic corners, and Cooper DeJean is one of the most athletic players in the draft. But I'm surprised they don't go Kool-Aid McKenzie, considering their infatuation with Alabama and Georgia guys. But Nate Wiggins is a good player. Back-to-back Charger picks. They go Xavier Worthy and Tyler Guyton. Tyler Guyton, Boomer Sooner. That was another big combine winner, big Senior Bowl winner. I could definitely see him being a first-round pick. Xavier Worthy ran the fastest 40 time of all time. So Justin Herbert, Xavier Worthy down there somewhere. Just let it go. That's a pretty good pick. I'm not mad at that. Cooper DeJean falls to the Packers at 25. That's not a bad pick for them. Byron Murphy should be coming up here soon. Jackson Power Davis going to the Bucks. I like that. They need another O-lineman. Jackson Power Johnson, excuse me. I think I said Jackson Power Davis. Johnny Newton goes over Byron Murphy. That's a shock to me. That's really a shock. And Keon Coleman, 28, you can book it. The Bills are taking a receiver in this draft. You can book that now. Keon Coleman, though, he didn't run that well in terms of the 40, but with the rock in his hands, he's explosive. So I won't be surprised if they do that. And these final four teams, that means it's only going to be four quarterbacks in the first round? 1, 2, 3, 4. Only 4 quarterbacks in the first round, man. So let's see if I can predict these picks correctly. I feel like the Chiefs would go Adonai Mitchell. I feel like the Ravens could go DB, but they could also go low key, I think the Lions should go Byron Murphy here. I think Graham Barton would be a good guard for the Ravens. The Ravens could use another guard. And San Fran, I think they do need to take a DB. It just happens perfectly that these would be the 4 picks because these are the needs for the teams. Let's see where they go. McKenzie, okay, so they took the DB. They could use DB help, so that makes sense. Adonai Mitchell went to the Ravens. Wow. Byron Murphy. And then who does Kansas City take to close us out? No way they take Lab McConkey. Even though he had a good combine, there has to, man. I mean, hey, if anybody can make it work, I would believe them. I would see them taking a Xavier Leggett. He was a combine pro day stud too. He looks like a linebacker. He looks like he's like DK's twin. I'd rather see them take him than Lad McConkey. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like to see that. I like to see what other sites and what other things are considering for mock drafts, because when we come out with our mock draft, it is going to be like we did last year on Madden, and I hope you guys like it because a lot of work's going to go into it. So that's pretty much all I had for you guys. I'm already running up on an hour, man. I've been talking to you guys for an hour about draft content. It's crazy. Let me go ahead and get y'all words of wisdom so you and I can both go watch the Lakers and the Pelicans game. So, oh man, a lot of stuff changing in life going forward, man. A lot of changes. Don't be afraid to step out on faith, man. I know I say that a lot. I know that's one of the go-to words of wisdom for me, man, but that's really all I can say because that's the only way I'm doing what I'm doing. The only way I'm able to keep going, man, is having faith, because it's not me, it's God, man. So don't be afraid to step out on faith, bro. God got you. Like, he's not going to give you more than you can handle. He's not going to give you more than you can bear. That's the scripture. He's not going to leave you or forsake you. That's the scripture. God got you, bro. And this is for me. God got you. Don't be afraid to step out on faith. He wouldn't bless you with these opportunities if they weren't for you. He wouldn't give you these opportunities if they weren't from him. Because only the devil is going to give you negative stuff. God's not going to give you any negativity. So don't be afraid to step out on faith, man. And just like that, we are at the end of another episode of the Dynastyers podcast, man. I'm your homie, your brother, your main man, Darius Capers. Y'all know me as Kung Fu Cape. Man, if you made it to this point in the video, if you made it to this point in the episode of the podcast, you're the real MVP. You're the champion. To make sure you keep repeating as champ, make sure you get them fingers filled up with rings. You know what you got to do. Give us a sub on YouTube. Give us a sub at the Dynastyers podcast. Give us a follow on Instagram at the Dynastyers podcast. You see it scrolling at the bottom. Give us a follow on TikTok at the Dynastyers podcast, man. I told you I was going to add it in. It took me about a month and a half, 2 months. That's what I was off doing. I was getting it added in that time. So till next time, which will be next week, like I said, y'all going to start seeing me more often. We about to get back on the grind. And until next time, it's your boy. We out. Peace.